Everybody's chatting today. All right, time to get started. If you would please stand. We have Judge Whitfield will lead us in our pledge, and Judge Hollis Alexander will lead us in our prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Down with me. Father, we come before you this day, Lord, just giving you thanks for this day that you've given us, Lord. We thank you for the ability to gather here in freedom and conduct business of the PeADD, Lord. We thank you for all the men and women who fought, died, and sacrificed through the ages to help provide us this freedom, Lord. We ask that you be with each and every leader in this room and their respective communities and what they do at home, Lord. We thank you for the food that's been provided for us here today. We thank you for the hands prepared, Lord. We ask that you give it to the nourishment of our bodies. We may in turn do something for you, Lord. Ask all these things in your name. We ask that you forgive us where we fail you. Amen.
Thank you both.
I did not get some.
I have the minutes from our previous meeting in your packet. Got a motion to approve?
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, financial report, Mr. Lee Wilson.
Good afternoon, everyone. At this point in the fiscal year closeout, expenditures are at 85.5%. And all items remain within the budget. We will continue to accrue expenses and revenues as we transition through the close of this fiscal year. Mr. Chairman, if there are no additions or corrections, the financial report is submitted for Mayor Cotton's motion to approve.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, moving to our federal and state reports. First up, Ms. Morgan Albee with Senator McConnell's office.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would be remiss if I did not start off by saying thank you to everyone who has reached out over the last few weeks to express their thoughts and prayers to the senator as he recovers. I know it means a lot to him, and it means a lot to me too. I'm sure by now most of you have seen the lengthy statement the senator released yesterday that details the course of events. So I won't read the entire statement. I know I sent it out to some of you, but if you haven't seen it and would like to, just let me know. I'd be happy to send it. As the senator is improving, he is recovering. It takes time, but he has moved into the rehab phase of his recovery to regain strength. And so it's just going to take a little bit of time. But again, we so appreciate everyone reaching out. He remains engaged on Senate business and Kentucky Matters. And as he recovers, in the meantime, our staff, our office, we are business as usual, and we have been since the beginning. So don't hesitate to reach out. As always, if there's any way that we can be helpful, just let me know. And again, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. Next up, Mr. Austin Weatherington with Congressman Comer's office.
Well, thank you. It's good to be with you all again. Just as a quick little legislative update, the House is back in session this week. Wanted to flag that the House Appropriations Committee is continuing to advance their independent budget bills. So once we know more information, and some of those have been called for a vote this week, but once we know more information, we'll be sure to keep Jason and Amy in the loop with priorities from the PeADD region. But as always, appreciate the work you all do. Appreciate working with the PeADD here. If we can ever be of help, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Austin. Next up, Mr. Chayton Penley with DRA.
Hello, everyone. Just a few quick updates. So on the human infrastructure side with our workforce program, we are still in review of the workforce cycle that closed in May. We're hoping August or September to be able to announce any awards that are made through that program. Also, there's an open application for the Department of Labor's Work 7, the workforce opportunities for rural communities. And that application is open until July 23rd. The funding range for that is $2 million to $8 million, and they're expecting to make about 15 awards with that. Next up, the Delta Leadership Institute Executive Academy. The application window for that opened on June 16th and is going to close on August 14th. Fellows representing each of the 8 states are selected by the 8 governors and the federal co-chairman. And over the course of the 9-month executive leadership development program, 6 sessions are held through different cities in the DRA region. And I know of one DLI graduate in here. Are there any others that have gone through that program? 2. If you are interested in applying, you are able to do so on our grants management system, dra.gov. You can access it through there. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact C. Talantis. On the critical infrastructure side, I checked with our team this morning, and the main thing they wanted me to remind everyone is that the CDAP applications are still open and they are due on July 31st. And then the Critical Infrastructure Fund, or CIF, applications are open and they are due August 24th. And if you all have any questions, please feel free to contact Amy Smith. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ms. Martha Jane King with the Governor's Office.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, everybody. Hope everybody made it safely through these last floods and problems we had. I was just talking to the judge about how many roads are clogged up, how the counties are doing everything they can, guys, to get down there and get them cleaned out. But by the time we get that done, we turn around and it's happening again. And on that note, I want to say a big thank you to the first responders everywhere due to the deaths, the issues we've had with the accidents on the interstate and everything. Those guys have worked so hard out in 108-degree heat, the police officers with vests on. I mean, you just think about that. They run into the danger and we're running from it. So you see one of those guys, thank them and tell them how much we appreciate them. I know I do. I had a house burned to a fire, and I really appreciate to see the fire department coming up. That being said, I want to congratulate Mayor Malcolm West, who was sworn in Tuesday as the new mayor in Central City. And wishing you best of luck, and please give me a call if I can help you in any way. Also, the Homeland Security Grant Program is collecting applications for both years, 25 and 26. They will review the submissions and determine the most appropriate grant year based on projects, timelines, and budgets. Please think about Saturday. The governor will be attending the dedication of Sergeant Benjamin Pennington in his hometown of Glendale. He was killed in epic fury, one of the 13 that we had killed in the Iran controversy. So please remember their family and think about them on Saturday. Lastly, the Governor's Locals Issues Conference is going to be in the Galt House in Louisville. If you have not signed up, go sign up. You don't want to miss it. It's the big anniversary, 50 years. Jason, are you going to be there?
I'll be there.
Okay, good. Judge, are you going to be there? Okay, good. So that's 2 out of the room. So everybody go sign up. It's August the 19th through the 21st. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Greg Meredith with KYTC.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having us here and for lunch. Transportation Cabinet is moving forward. This is a busy time of year, of course, for all of us in terms of roads and paving and bridges, etc. So we just had our last round of county city bridge improvement program selections, and I think we had one in this area, so Trigg County, Old Hopkinsville Road.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank the governor and Bobby Joe. Yeah, you're very welcome. So we're also moving into, we haven't yet received the flex allocations. I know everybody's waiting for flex funds. But they're going through the receipts from last year's gas tax. And hopefully soon, within a week, maybe 2 weeks, those numbers will be out. So hang in there. Additionally, there's the new fund this year called the grant pool. And that's eligible to be applied for currently. There's a new form on the Rural Municipal Aid website that goes to the grant pool. Just a quick thing about it. Again, it's $24 million statewide. It's $100,000 per county and per county seat. If the county seat doesn't use the money, it can be, stepped down to other incorporated cities within that county. So it's $100,000 match. Any kind of transportation project you have, whether it's resurfacing, capacity increase, a turn lane, sidewalk, transit, etc. So if you need help with that, I'm around. I'll be here. Let me know. The TAP grants for this year still haven't been announced. They're still being evaluated and looked at. So we've got a new secretary in transportation. Jim Gray stepped down. Excuse me. And so we have Rebecca Goodman, who had worked in the cabinet before. She's doing a great job, and she's getting her hands around programs currently. So I'm here if you have any questions. I'd be glad to answer them. I had the good fortune of being a district engineer down in Bowling Green for a while. So I can help and get you in contact with people if you have any kind of issues. So call me about anything. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. Moving to our staff reports. First up, Ms. Amy Prode with Community and Economic Development.
As Amy's coming up here, I'm just going to set the stage for what we're doing today. As you all have seen the agenda, we do not have a guest speaker for today, and that's typical of our July meetings because we utilize this meeting as our staff's opportunity, as our management team's opportunity to go through our work plan for the next 12 months. So that's what you all will be hearing over the next little bit from each member of our management team. And then that'll all culminate with the presentation of our operating budget or our full budget for FY27 as soon as they complete. So Amy, go ahead.
So I'll start out with the Community and Economic Development Department, our work plan for FY27. So our work in our department begins with PeADD's core mission, and that is to promote and assist the development and growth of the regional economy while helping make the Penny Ryle a better place to live and work. In our mission, it serves a broad platform. We cover services from economic development, community development, housing, planning, infrastructure, and emergency management across all 9 of our counties and 33 cities. So our department operates, as you will hear very shortly, with an approximately $1.3 million budget. That budget supports 8.5 staff positions. That's 8 full-time positions and 1 part-time employee. We ended fiscal year 26 with 338 projects across the region that were in some stage of development through construction and closeout. With the resources for the FY27 budget, we are carrying 302 of those projects over into FY27. And together, those projects represent about $701 million in infrastructure, housing, community, and economic development projects. That's a testament to your all's effort as well. I think we probably have the most active group of judges and mayors that we've ever had in my history at PeADD. And thank you all for what you do. Our FY27 work plan organizes our responsibilities around 6 core strategic focus areas, and those are economic development, community development, infrastructure, planning, disaster resiliency, and GIS, Geographic Information Systems. Our goal for FY27 is to strengthen the integration between those programs so that our local governments receive coordinated support rather than disconnected services. So the first pillar, economic development, remains a primary focus for our department. We're going to continue to leverage federal partnerships through EDA, DRA, CDBG, economic development programs, as well as other state and federal tools that can support major regional investments in economic development in our region. We will also utilize state and local tools, including the DRA CDAP program, the Kentucky Product Development Initiative, KPDI, and our revolving loan fund program that we operate here within the organization. Community development also remains a focus for us because it affects nearly every city and county that we serve. And FY27 will continue supporting housing and public facilities through the CDBG programs, USDA rural development opportunities, as well as other programs that enhance the quality of life in our communities. Our role in these projects is not limited to just the application preparation. We help you all structure those projects, meet procurement and compliance requirements, coordinate professional services, and then manage those projects through closeout. Public safety also continues to generate a substantial demand, as Ms. Martha Jane referenced. Those are important services in our communities. We'll continue to pursue those opportunities that support public safety and transit needs of our community. And if you all will check your email, I did send out a revised funding opportunities notice that mentions that Homeland Security grant that opened this morning, and those are due on July 31st. So pretty quick turnaround on those this year. We've got about 3 weeks to get those in. The infrastructure pipeline, water and wastewater, continues to be our largest area of identified need in the region. For the FY27 SRF, that's the state revolving fund ranking process that Mike coordinates. Our region identified 73 drinking water projects valued at just over $372 million and 49 wastewater projects at about $212.5 million projects. Together, that represents $585 million worth of documented water and sewer needs in this region alone. So you can imagine what that is across the state. We'll continue working through the Water Management Council and with our local utilities and engineers, KIA, DRA, CDBG, and the Kentucky Waters programs to align those projects with the most appropriate funding sources for those projects. Within the infrastructure realm, our work includes maintaining those project profiles in the WRIS system, assisting with the funding applications, coordinating that multi-source financing, tracking project readiness, and then administering the awards on behalf of those utilities. Most of the infrastructure work that we've been doing the last couple of years has revolved around the Cleaner Water Program. But if you all will remember Mike saying that program, it will sunset on December 31st of this year. So as that program goes away, that makes it especially important for us to identify those water and sewer needs and connect them with those other funding strategies that will be available. Planning is the bridge between your local community needs and fundable projects. The strong applications generally begin with reliable data, an adopted plan, a defined scope of work, and then evidence that that project fits a broader community or regional strategy. Transportation planning will continue with the Regional Transportation Committee. Those committee meetings we've combined into one day, and our next meetings, I believe, will be on August the 5th for both Regional Transportation Committee and the Water Management Council. We will continue to research zoning support, comprehensive planning or zoning updates for local governments, as well as other specialized planning initiatives and targeted programs. We want all of this planning work to result in projects that are implementable in your communities and not in a report that just sits on the shelf that never gets read most of the time. Recent disasters have reinforced the need to treat resilience as an ongoing cycle of preparation, response, recovery, and mitigation. Our disaster resiliency coordinator will continue pursuing funding programs. She may kill me for saying this as as she's struggled the last 11 weeks with FEMA. But we will continue pursuing those programs that support mitigation and resilience to both natural and man-made hazards. We'll also continue to support the regional disaster leadership structure, as well as preparedness, local technical assistance, and coordination with our emergency management partners. A major priority for FY 27 will be the beginning of our 5-year hazard mitigation plan update. That plan is essential for going after these mitigation opportunities, because most of these opportunities do require those projects to be identified in a plan. So we'll be working with you all to identify those projects and make sure that they are incorporated into that planning process. Our GIS, or Geographic Information Systems, has become a core component of our operation rather than just a standalone mapping function. Our GIS staff support grant applications, infrastructure planning, emergency response, economic development, transportation, and all of that leads into local decision-making. In FY 27, we will continue our work, including road centerline updates, redistricting or reapportionment if necessary, and NG 911 mapping assistance. We will still be available for customized spatial analysis, including disaster mapping, county flood plans, site analysis, and other project-specific requests. If you all will remember, last year we were able to procure a drone that operates within our GIS department. That does still remain a tool for you all to take advantage of. Those services support environmental monitoring, land use analysis, aerial photography and video, or site selection documentation. So if you all need any of those services, we can provide that capacity in-house. Hopefully that will reduce the time and cost on the front end of your project development, where we're able to help getting some of those services taken care of. And then special funding also allows our department to respond to urgent needs and strategic opportunities that fall outside of these normal routine programs. These programs do often require fast coordination, strong project narratives, and the ability to assemble technical, financial, and community support very quickly. So we have reserved enough flexibility in our FY 27 plan to allow our staff to respond to those needs as they emerge. So this slide basically summarizes how our department activities work together instead of in isolation with each other. We do at our agency keep these functions within one department, and that allows our staff to coordinate with each other and with you all to reduce those gaps in service. This results in a greater value from every local dollar, stronger applications, better compliance, and a clearer path from community need to the completed project. As we enter this year with a substantial active workload, we want to make sure that we all have a strategic framework so that we can continue to provide a strong record of local investment and return on your investment to our local communities. We do appreciate your all's continued support, and you will hear from our management, or our finance treasurer, sorry, the words aren't coming to me, later about our budget. And again, we thank you for that continued support. And that allows us to compete effectively for both state and federal investments in your region. All right. Any questions on CED? No? Thank you.
I apologize. I'm going to do this throughout this presentation, but I'm going to jump in a little bit and just say I agree wholeheartedly with exactly what Amy said about you all, our local officials and our board, being so active in making sure that your communities are looking for and taking advantage of the various grant programs that are out there. I also just want to add to that, I think a lot of that has to do And to the thanks that we need to offer to Morgan and Austin and our other federal partners with all the work that they do with each of us, you all included, regarding the congressionally directed funding. I think we have seen so much more congressionally directed funds than we've seen, again, in my history. That lays at the feet of Morgan and Austin and our other folks. So a big thank you to them. And I would say this if he wasn't sitting in the room, so I'm not just blowing smoke, but Chairman Petrie, a few years ago, did drive an increase in the funding for our joint funding administration, the funding that is used by our community and economic development staff to support you all. So that has allowed us to hire additional staff so that we can provide more services to you all. And then I'll say this, to thank the governor's staff and the legislature for developing the grant program a few years back. I think that a lot of you all probably wouldn't be able to apply for the federal grants that you are able to now because you have that potential matching opportunity sitting there. So thank you to the legislature for putting that program in place. Thank you to the governor's office for enacting that program and implementing that program. That's been a huge help. Wouldn't you think so, Amy, in allowing?
State appropriations as well.
Right. That's exactly right. In the state line item appropriation. So a lot of reasons behind that of reason you're seeing such a large amount of projects. And I hope you all are as proud of our team as I am to be able to manage that number of projects for you all. So thank you for what you do on that. And thank you to our team for being able to manage all that.
Moving to Health and Family Services, Ms. Amanda Stokes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be doing the first portion of our Health and Family Services work plan for FY 27. Within the Health and Family Services Department, we have services that are focused on aging and independent living with a team of 15 individuals working toward that. With that, we serve as a portal of care where we assess the needs of individuals, we develop programs, we implement services, we educate the community, and we serve older adults and caregivers across the PeaDD region. Currently, there are 52,613 adults age 60 and over within the PeaDD region out of the 1 million that are estimated across the state of Kentucky. Now, we are seeing continued growth, and we'll see that all the way through 2030 and beyond. From 2022 through 2030, there is 12% growth in the 60 and over population that is estimated. So there is that increased demand and need for services. As far as engagement in the community, we are engaged with our community partners, AARP. We participate in conferences that are appropriate for our services. We have events in the community. We're supportive of our PeaDD annual senior games. We have things like support groups, our elder abuse council that covers multiple counties across our region, as well as working with our providers for services. With the Ombudsman program, that is our advocacy program for residents in facilities. Currently, there are 37 facilities in the PeaDD region that make up 2,727 beds for those residents. We have one full-time long-term care ombudsman that's our advocate, as well as 2 backup ombudsmen within our staff. These are her projections for FY 27, where we are going to do 1,300 long-term care consultations, as well as 475 visits. With that, she can meet with staff, we can meet with residents, family members as well, to be sure that they're served with the advocacy that they need to help make sure they know what their rights are and what they can ask for in meeting those needs. As far as our spectrum of care with our federally funded services, we are projecting that during FY 27, there will be 22,000 units of transportation. Those are one-way trips primarily to and from the senior center, to and from doctor's offices if funding allows as well as 4,200 hours of homemaking service. With our state-funded services, we did experience a 4% reduction in funding. So these are down a little bit from the prior year. But again, these numbers are subject to change. There are projections. So 7,420 hours of homemaking, as well as 2,325 hours of personal care services. Now, within that as well, we do have a team of 7 case managers that are responsible for assessing individuals to determine initial eligibility, to do ongoing contacts with those individuals to make sure that their needs are met, as well as annual reassessments to demonstrate continued eligibility for that care in their home. Nutrition services. With FY27, we do have 2 providers that we have procured with to provide those services. That is PACS, Pennyroyal Allied Community Service, and we do have a new provider that is Mom's Meals. They are a non-traditional meal provider. They're based in Iowa. They send out and drop ship refrigerated meals that can be heated in the microwave or the oven as well, for individuals to access that services. Again, these are projected estimates for that. With the traditional hot home delivered meals, we're projecting 68,100, as well as 1,700 units of that non-traditional meal service. Again, those numbers are subject to change. And I will say, just for reference, with the 68,100 hot meals that we are projecting for FY27, that number in FY26 was 158,781 meals. That is a drastic reduction in that. And we are working to try to prioritize our clients that we will be able to serve ongoing with this year. So that's a $1.7 million shortfall from FY26 to FY27. So in your packet, you will notice that there is a home delivered meal summary packet in there. It gives you a breakdown of that $1.7 million shortfall that we are currently experiencing. As of July 1st, we were serving 723 individuals across the region. There is a breakdown on page 1 by county. And I will say those numbers we're serving by county currently are fairly proportional to the census numbers for our older adults by county as well. You'll also notice on that page that we have broken down those individuals into 2 different groups: high priority clients and low priority clients. I do want to clarify that all of the individuals listed and a part of that 723 individuals are eligible for services. They meet the technical criteria for services. But we were given the task of trying to determine those that were most in need. So for an example of someone that might be a high priority is someone who has no support system outside of the services coming into their home. Someone with limited mobility, severe arthritis. They're very isolated. They have low vision, or they might even be blind. Those are some of the individuals that we had looked at for higher priority status. Some of the lower priority status individuals, they may have an existing support system. They're a little more physically able, and they may even be accessing other services within the community as well. Historically, prior to the pandemic, we had a waiting list for meals. And with that waiting list and limited funding, we were only able to serve the highest priority individuals. With the pandemic came an influx of funds. And with that, it allowed us to move much farther down the waiting list to those clients who had a lower priority score to serve. So that is one reason right now we were able to make such a distinction between the high priority clients and those that we've got listed as lower priority. As well as just prior to the pandemic, for reference, at that point, we were serving approximately 350 meal clients rather than the 723 that we started the year with. Within that packet, scenarios 1 through 7 are for your reference. Again, those numbers are subject to change as well. There's some of the potential scenarios that we've been looking at as how to distribute funding and best serve those that we currently have on our programs.
And I'll go ahead and jump in there if you don't mind, Amanda. She's already referenced the various scenarios that we have put together. And let me just start out by saying there's not a right answer. There's not a good answer. Let me say that. There's not a good answer to this, but it's our goal to find the best answer that we can to navigate through this. I do want to draw your attention to scenario 1, because I think that does set somewhat of a baseline for us to start working off of. This just shows if we were to take our current or what our allocation is going to be for FY 27 and percentage basis, take those numbers down in each county and then keep those numbers constant throughout the entire fiscal year. That means as someone would fall off of that list due to attrition, we would then turn around and replace that individual in that particular county. Again, this shows right there what that decrease will look like for individual counties. Going further down our scenarios, we then look at different ways of doing things. Like scenario 2, we start bringing in attrition. We know that there's individuals. What's our average attrition rate?
About 30 a month.
About 30% or about 30?
30 clients.
About 30 clients a month that we see for any number of reason that they may stop receiving these home delivered meals. So we know that's going to happen because on average that does. So census or scenario 2 starts to take those attrition levels into consideration. And then as we drop down onto some of our other scenarios, we start bringing in the possibility of looking at a hybrid method, looking at providing some hot home delivered meals and some of the mom's meals that she referenced earlier, the refrigerated meals. And this also takes into account looking at high priority versus the low priority clients. What we're not ready to do today, I don't think, is to make a decision on how we move forward. But I do want to say this: the longer we move forward, serving the full 723 client list, the more reductions we're going to have to make as the year goes on. So we are in a need to make a decision about how we move forward in the very near future. I will say that we will be, which I think is probably the best opportunity, is working through our executive committee to provide, and our executive committee and our county judges to provide the preferred scenario and then bring that back to the full board for approval, hopefully at our August meeting would be the plan to do that, so we can get that moving as quickly as possible. I'm going to stop right there because I'm sure there's questions that some might have that we'll try to answer. Again, there will be a lot more conversation that's going on about these scenarios. I will tell you that our finance team and Health and Family Services team, along with PACS's team, we met last week. Judge Smith was a part of that meeting as the chair of PACS. And so we started having those conversations. We started talking about here's where we stand. Here's the current number. Here's what it would look like if we went down this scenario. Again, just looking at different possibilities about what makes the best sense, what's the best for our seniors, and how we can keep as many people being served as we can. So that process has started. The good thing about us and PACS is that we have always been joined at the hip. You can talk to a lot of my counterparts across the state, and that is not the case. I'm sure you agree with me, Harold. when you talk with your counterparts. We're fortunate here in our region to have such a good working relationship with PAC. So I have no concern that we won't reach the best possible scenario that we can. Now, you all have any questions today about what we've presented just for you all to start digesting?
Are our current participants aware that these cuts are coming?
There has been no formal communication with participants as of yet. I mean, there's been a lot of news articles that have been out there regarding those. So I'm positive that a lot of them probably know that this is coming, but there has been no formal, because we don't have a formal plan in place yet.
Yeah, makes sense.
Jason, I think I'd be remiss to say that I'm not disappointed that we didn't find an answer for the funding gap, this shortfall. Our seniors are the ones who are having to digest this.
Sure.
We're making decisions upon their behalf. Fortunately, they won't get to make a decision in that. Whatever scenario we choose is going to affect somebody directly. So I guess my first comment would be somewhat disappointed that we couldn't find a stopgap measure for the most vulnerable in our communities for this answer. We dealt with that last fall. We're dealing with it again this summer. That's my first comment. My second comment would be for those at our vendors in this situation, ask our representative here making the bid process as well as meals for moms or whatever it's called.
Mom's meals.
Mom's meals. It's very difficult when you make that bid process here at the PeADD district in a timely manner that you're unknowing what you're going to be providing. I made this comment before, but it's extremely difficult for those that were interested in potentially trying to find a way to do it in their community. When you have this unknown measure, unknown funding loss and scenario that you can't make a real decision upon the bid process. So that would be my only comment about how we can in the future fix this. If we're not going to be able to find the measure now for the funding, is try to find a way when the bid process happens that we don't always back it up against maybe the fiscal year where somebody is making a decision in Frankfurt that we have a process where we have a shortfall directly in the bid process the first year.
Thank you. Anything else before I turn it back over to Amanda? All right.
Okay, thank you. Additionally, we have our National Family Caregiver Program. This is for caregivers taking care of an elderly individual. They can access services such as supplemental services, respite, support groups, different things like that to help them be able to maintain with that individual they're providing care for. Next is our Kentucky Caregiver Program. This is for grandparents who are raising grandchildren. Again, being a state-funded program, this also received a 4% cut for FY27. So there is a slight drop in the number of grandparents that we project to be able to serve. Lastly, on this slide, we have our community service, Senior Community Service Employment Program, also known as Title V. We have 17 slots. These are for individuals age 55 and older who are looking for training to enter or re-enter the workforce, that are older adults. Overall, it's a variety of vital supports, whether you're looking at our mobility services with keeping people out in the community, our services that keep people in their homes, nutrition programs, our advocacy efforts for individuals across the region, and the support that we provide to them. It's a comprehensive system of care. With this, our estimated budget for FY27 is $3,814,211 with that. And here is my contact information. Are there any other questions? Great, thank you.
All right, now we have Ms. Peyton Kidd. Come up.
Oh, he's over here.
Oh,
I'm right here.
Sorry.
All righty, good afternoon. I'm going to be presenting today on the work plan for the long-term services and support department. Right now, these projections are based off these programs that consist of our home communities waiver programs, our PDS option, traditional options, as well as our specialty contract, which is our veterans directed care. For the waiver program, PDS projections of 274 clients, traditional 52 clients. I do want to emphasize too that any waiver programs, they're always allocated by slots. They're funded by slots. Veterans Directed Care Program, we are looking at 567 clients with projection of adding 25 clients new each month with a total projection of 867. As you can see right here, this is just a map that kind of illustrates our expansion. Right now, we are actively we serve as a super hub with our Veterans Direct Care Program in 7 states. We have working relationships with 12 VA medical centers. This is also a map kind of give you guys, we're in the middle. We're showing you right now of all of our spoke agencies. All these agencies up here are area agencies, area development districts. Currently right now, we have 19 spoke agencies that we oversee. With the potential expansion, we are actually getting pretty close right now. I think we have confirmed 2 yeses and 1 potential. So hopefully the next time we present right here, that number will at least be up at the 22 spoke agencies and relationships. And what that converts to, it basically means when we pull in an agency, everybody's just like we are. PeaDD covers 9 counties. Each of these agencies cover specific counties. So by us going into these specific areas, we're open to this veterans resource to those counties that they service. Right now, that is the department breakdown. I'm right there as the director up there at the top. If you go to the home and communities waiver side, there are 8 full-time staff in the social services department. That does include 1 program coordinator. There's also 1 social services case manager program / support specialist, which is a full-time position as well. If you go to our Veterans Directed Care Program, there is 1 full-time Veterans Directed Care coordinator with 1 full-time Veteran Directed Care support specialist. I get a lot of questions. They're like, well, why can't we see the difference in staff here? And the difference is on the veteran side, we serve as a super hub. We contract out the case management functions as opposed to the home and communities waiver where the people in the office actually perform the case management functions. So that's the big difference. As far as total budgets, if you look at line item 1, the PDS HCV, we have a total budget around 15.5 million, service budget of 13.8, which leaves us with a operating budget of 1.7 million. That actually is a decrease. The reasoning of the decrease is due to the RFP proposal from the state to remove financial management services from the area development districts. As far as line item 2, the HCV traditional, you're looking at total budget 265. That's going to be an increase about 3,800. Your big jump is going to be on your Veterans Directed Care Program. Our total budget with them is around 34.9 million. Service budget of 30.8 million with a FY 2027 operating budget of 41, in which it is an increase of around $1.8 million. If you look at the department, the LTSS department as a whole, we have a total budget of around 50.8 million. A service budget of 44.7 million. That leaves us with a FY 2027 operating budget of a little over 6 million, with an increase overall of around $1.7 million. So we're in a very good status. This is my contact information. Does anybody have any questions? Make that short and sweet. All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Steve. Next, we have West Kentucky Workforce Board, Ms. Sheila Clark.
Mr. Chairman. Even though I think you can hear me, I'll make sure you can hear me. Looking at the activities with the West Kentucky Workforce Board, it is one of the programs that serves 17 counties, and we have had only some minor changes this year. So we will continue to try to serve the individuals that we've had the opportunity to serve, and we've had some additional grants that have helped us do that. Looking at our budget, we have the 4 million plus that we have in our budget. We have a 42-member board that is appointed by our judges. And then we have allocated funds for contracted staff as a part of that 17 team staff that you see there. We also want to thank our judges. They were part of a consortium meeting here a few weeks ago, and we had to have everybody there helping us out to make that work, and we really appreciate that. Looking at the federal dollars that come down from the U.S. Department of Labor to us, we have a state board, the Kentucky Workforce Innovation Board. There are 10 local boards across the state of Kentucky, and we're the westernmost board, and we serve the 17 counties of the West. And then you'll see that our fiscal agent is the Pensacola Area Development District with the fiscal agent and subrecipient. And then we have to contract by law for our operator of our career centers, and then also for the direct services staff that does eligibility and case management and all of those activities. Looking at our structure there, we have committees that we work through there. We have a youth committee. We have a funding committee with our activities under the program review. And then the board also has oversight of the career center system. If you look at the matrix that we have here of services, I won't go through all the details there, but in the first column, you'll see adult. And looking at those adult services, we want to make sure that we include dislocated worker services there. We've been very fortunate to not have major dislocations occurring with our business and industry, and we think that that's a plus for us. But we also have our direct training programs there, as well as on-the-job training and other activities. If individuals are trying to be placed in those high-wage jobs, they have opportunities for training there as well. Youth programs, you see there, 18 to 24 years of age. You'll see the state legislature has helped us there with funding putting young Kentuckians to work. And then in the Fort Campbell Strong, you'll see that's our military transition activities that we have there. And then we have emergency disaster grants. If we'd had tornadoes or we'd had more severe flooding, some of the programs that we have for that is when the business is impacted and individuals must be sent home because the business had to close, or maybe it's not going to come back from the structure damage that it received. And those are all things that we have been a part of and continue to do. In looking at the adult services there, you'll see in the center the focus of the high wage jobs with our 87.5% placement and then our dislocated workers at 100% placement. And with helping us achieve that is our business service teams that are in each of our comprehensive career centers. And with that, we have Tom Scholler and Mary Ann helping us with that, with our business services there. And then Karen Wallace, she's with our Right Choice program. And then I'll go ahead and mention them. Derek Poore works with our workforce transition at Fort Campbell. And we are certainly proud to have staff that have a great knowledge and have been doing that for a while. And looking at the youth ecosystem there, you'll see that we have 4 youth contractors through our community college and 1 in-school program. Then you'll see that we have statewide funding at the bottom with our Putting Young Kentuckians to Work. And without that assistance, we couldn't have served some of the numbers of youth that we have. And that is focused in this area on work-based learning and looking at individuals that may have a work experience on the job training, those types of activities. And you'll see that our wage has been very high there when we've been doing those things. This is the pipeline for putting young Kentuckians to work. We've been successful in that pipeline. You'll see that we served 172 people and an average wage of $19 an hour. And we can't say enough to appreciate what the legislators have done for us, and our success stories there certainly reflect that. And we try to have those in our packets and in the PeADD board letter and several of the places you might reach out to for that. This is our Fort Campbell Strong. Our activities there with putting military transition from the military into our civilian jobs. We have Derek at Fort Campbell with job fairs every week, a couple of times. And then we have opportunities for quarterly job fairs, direct training services, as well as assistance with preparing resumes and interviews. We also have economic development as part of that, and we're able to connect your communities to that if you would like for that to happen. This is an example of our Kentucky disaster assistance and the examples I was just given previously there. We have $1 million award that we got in the disaster from 2024 and 25, and we're still expending those funds right now. We can provide for training, work experience, and OJT. And these are for individuals that are directly impacted by the loss of their jobs because of the disaster. And looking at the physical footprint of our activities, these are the service points. Those additional grants that we've mentioned with the Putting Young Kentuckians to Work, and then the Delta Regional Authority to help us serve a broader range of individuals with an eligibility that's broader. And so we can take our allocation from the Department of Labor and combine it with those grants and make things better for the people that we're serving. And we couldn't have done those grants without the help of the Area Development District staff. Are there any questions or any thing we can address? Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. Next, we have an administration update with Hala Small.
Good afternoon. I'm going to close our management work plan with the Finance and Administration work plan for FY 27. Finance and Administration really serves as a foundation underneath every program and department in the agency that was just discussed. Our work includes financial management, regulatory compliance, technology, communication, administrative services, and the fiscal support that allows the rest of the agency to operate effectively. Much of what we do happens behind the scenes, but it touches every part of our agency and the services we provide. Our team consists of 13 full-time employees and 3 part-time employees, all of which I'm very grateful for. So that responsibility is significant when you consider the scale of the agency. For FY 27, our total budget is approximately $60.8 million, with a service budget of $50.8 million in services and approximately $10 million in operating funds. Our responsibilities provide financial oversight of those funds while maintaining compliance, accountability, transparency, and strong internal controls. And of course, Mr. Lee Wilson is going to be talking more about that in more detail in just a few minutes. This slide gives a broader picture of the work performed within our department. We manage the full financial life cycle, including accounting, payroll, accounts payable, accounts receivable, budgeting, cash management, financial reporting, grant compliance, audits, and internal controls. And then we, of course, are providing all administrative services for the staff here at the PeADD office, which include human resources, information technology, communication, and general office support. We also serve as fiscal agent for some important regional and community programs. So while our department is often thought of primarily as accounting, our responsibilities are much broader than that. One of the more specialized areas of our department is financial management services, which goes hand in hand with Peyton's department and for the long-term services support. We currently provide this support through both the Veterans Directed Care Program and the Home and Community-Based Waiver Program. This role has expanded significantly over the last 2 years. Actually, we have nearly 7 full-time equivalents and 2 of our part-time employees that are working in this program. And I would say on a weekly basis, we probably all touch those programs. These programs involve complex payroll, tax, billing, compliance, and participant-directed services responsibilities. They also require significant coordination with participants, caregivers, program staff, partner agencies, and funding sources. The impact of that work extends far beyond the transactions that we process, and there are a lot of transactions. These programs support more than 960 participants that are remaining in their home and communities, while also creating employment opportunities for caregivers across 4 states. In FY27, we expect to issue approximately 37,000 paychecks that represents nearly $45 million in payroll. More importantly, these services help reduce the reliance on higher cost institutional care while supporting independence and quality of life in homes. As we're looking ahead into FY27, our priorities are centered on strengthening both our operations and the support we provide to the agency. We will continue maintaining strong financial stewardship and compliance, developing and implementing the software needed for the Veterans Directed Care Program, enhancing employee onboarding and benefit administration, streamlining electronic processes, improving reporting and operational efficiency, and continuing to strengthen our internal controls for audit readiness. These priorities are focused on building stronger systems, reducing unnecessary manual processes, and ensuring that the department can continue supporting the agency as it grows. And truly, all of these foundations, these strategies are built upon someone I would like to recognize. This is my first work plan presentation in this role, and I certainly would not be standing here without the foundation that Alicia Sutton built over the last 25 years. Her leadership, her integrity, and her willingness to mentor me throughout this transition have meant more than I can possibly express. So Alicia, thank you for investing your time, your knowledge, your confidence in me and this agency. I hope to continue building on that strong foundation that you've created, and I wish you nothing but the very best in your retirement. Are there, this is my contact information if you need it. Are there any questions for this department?
All right, thank you. Moving to new business, monthly code of ethics report. There were no issues to report. And we will move to the fiscal year 27 budget. Mr. Lee Wilson.
Good afternoon again. Now that you have heard the FY27 work plan from the management staff, I want to walk you through the budget. The budget is contained in your packet. You're going to see 2 blue pages reflecting your revenues and then a final page reflecting your expenditures. I would note that the executive committee went over this with the management team in detail on June the 15th, and it is now submitted for your approval. In regards to revenues, the total projected revenue for FY27 is $60.9 million. Now that's an increase of $14.6 million over the prior year's most recent revised budget. Some key changes. Beginning in FY27, the long-term services and sports program had been presented as a separate sub-department within the budget. In prior years, these programs were limited within the area aging on aging and limited and independent living section. This change better reflects the agency's current organizational structure and provides greater transparency into the growth and operation of our financial management services program. Training and workforce development reflects modest decreases in both total and operating funding as grant allocations fluctuate due to changing funding levels and various stages of multi-year grant awards. However, we do expect additional grant funding as we progress through the fiscal year. The department continues to support its core workforce development programs throughout this region. Community and economic development reflects continued investment through several new and expanded initiatives, including hazard mitigation planning, disaster resiliency capacity building, and local planning contracts, while the completion of certain projects, such as safe streets and roads for all, offsets a portion of that growth. Are there any questions in regards to our projected revenues? Seeing none, moving on to expenditures. The expenditure schedule found on that final page is broken down into three sections: personnel, travel, and then operating cost. Our personnel costs remain relatively stable overall. Salary adjustments and staffing changes were largely offset by reductions in benefits and part-time staffing costs. Travel expenses remain unchanged for both staff and board activities. Our operating expenses remain generally consistent. The most notable increases reflect higher insurance premiums, equipment depreciation, and increased program service expenditures associated with additional grant funding and continued growth in direct service programs. Overall, our projected expenditures total approximately $57.1 million, reflecting the increase in program activity, which is anticipated over our next year. While these projected revenues exceed expenditures by approximately $3.7 million, these funds are necessary to provide adequate working capital for financial management services programs. PeADD is responsible for funding payroll well in advance of reimbursement, particularly within our Veterans Directed Care Program, where biweekly payrolls are projected to average approximately $1.2 million by the end of the next fiscal year, but reimbursements are received approximately 12 weeks after services are provided and billed. Our most recent BDC payroll had gross wages of $633,000. By comparison, the Home and Community-Based Waiver PDS program average is expected to be approximately $533,000 in biweekly payroll and is typically reimbursed within 2 weeks. Maintaining sufficient operating reserves ensures that PeADD can continue meeting payroll obligations while awaiting reimbursement and protect against interruptions in service to the individuals that we serve. Are there any questions in regards to our expenditures? Ms. Carter? Hearing none, Mr. Chairman, the budget is presented for the board's consideration.
No proof. Second.
All right, any questions? Not all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Seconded.
Director?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being here today. I also want to provide my thanks to the executive committee for spending the day with us a couple of weeks ago to review, as the chairman already, or as our treasurer already mentioned, went through with the budget in detail. The minutes of that executive committee are provided in your packet for review. I hope you all have found today's presentation informative, as it does give you a good indication and a good deeper understanding, hopefully, of the day-to-day operations of the Pinnarow Area Development District. So thank you all for approving that budget today. The next thing I want to mention has to do with 2 new board members. We have, actually, both of these come from Muhlenberg County. We have a new mayor for the city of Central City. He couldn't be with us here today, but he will be joining us in the very near future. But that is Malcolm West, who has been appointed the mayor of Central City. Malcolm was a magistrate and has moved over to the city side of things and has been a longtime friend of the ad. And we've done a lot of work with Malcolm over the years. So look forward to having Malcolm join us, Mayor West join us in the very near future. We also need to take action on a recent board member resignation. Unfortunately, mainly due to some ongoing health issues, Andy Swansea, who also represented Muhlenberg County as a citizen member, resigned from the board so he could focus on his health issues. We definitely want to wish Andy well and definitely a quick recovery. But Judge Mac McGee has nominated another long-term friend of the Area Development District, Darren Benton, to fulfill Andy's unexpired term. I'm sure many of you all know Darren, as he also currently serves as a magistrate in Muhlenberg County. He's a local Farm Bureau insurance agent and has, if you're talking agriculture, Darren's a lot of time in the conversation. I think he serves on a lot of local and state boards as it pertains to agriculture. So having Darren join us will be a big asset to the ad. Because he is being appointed as a citizen member, Mr. Chairman, this board will need to take action on that nomination from Judge McMcGee.
Okay. We need a motion to approve this nomination.
Motion approved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right.
In your packet, you will also find information about the upcoming NATO training conference. Let us know if you are interested, let Melissa know. And then that way we can start making those travel arrangements. That will be in October. And then one final thing, and Hayla's already touched on it, in your packet, you will find, and it was also emailed to you a couple of weeks ago, a formal invitation to Alicia's retirement reception that will take place here in this room on her last day, July the 31st at 2 p.m. We hope you all can join us, and I appreciate you all recognizing her in this setting today as we're going to miss her. I was hearing a story about you last week from one of my predecessors, Danny Bozarth. He was telling me who hired Alicia, and was saying that in the beginning she really played hardball with him. I hadn't heard some of these stories, and the negotiations were difficult. But one thing he said is that one of his most proud things that he did in his time at the ad was to invest in Alicia Sutton. So I wanted to pass that along to you. You know, I was reading an article not too long ago. It said the two most important days in someone's career is their first day and their last day. Now, I wasn't here on Alicia's first day. I'm sure she knocked it out of the park, but I have been able to observe her during her time as she's wrapping up here. And, you know, she could have put it on cruise control, but she didn't. As she always does, she went above and beyond, as Hayla already talked about. She has Hayla in a great place, and she has the organization in a great place. So thank you all for taking the time today to recognize her in this setting. Hopefully you can join us on the 31st to recognize her even more. So, Mr. Chairman, that is all I have, unless there are any questions.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Is there a second? Everybody want to stay? All right. All those in favor may leave.
Kind of dumb.
I know it's
Pass here, take time.
Fat on the way up. Figure it out. I think I'm gonna hug. I ain't got to come to the bed.